To the top of the morning show. It's your girl TT from the D. It's Tap In Tuesday, everybody. I hope you're going to tune in tonight for my live stream platform over on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. This morning, we're going to talk about following your own path. What does that mean? I'm going to give you 7 reasons that you need to follow your own path this morning. 1, it's going to help you have less failure. The fear of failure, right? There are no foolproof plans or cleared out pathway without any, you know, twists and turns. But there are ways that you can actually live your life without fear by going through trial and error, because there's nothing perfect or failure proof. If you don't try, you don't know. But that also means that you can have a bigger chance of having a very blessed, potential, greater life ahead of you versus maybe settling and sitting and wondering and looking like, oh, I'm afraid that I'm going to fail. Well, if you don't learn by doing and trial and error, you'll never really know. And there's a stigma on that. It allows us to force ourselves into isolation, down roads that never should be traveled, and unable to see the cautionary tape that's across the street when we get ready to cross over to that other side. And it's like, and I have to say, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. The second thing is, it's going to help you to develop thicker skin. In the entertainment industry, for example, you got to have thick skin. If you are at a job or you are involved in politics, you understand the thing called nepotism. Nepotism is something we have encountered. You will encounter depending on where you are on your juncture in your journey. And facing judgment or disapproval or disappointment or rejection, a lot of time can be hurtful, embarrassing, or whatever ever emotion that you may feel. But over the time, it becomes clear that the judgment of others will be like rain on a Teflon jacket. It'll just roll down because you've developed a thick skin, right? And you may say, well, that's your opinion, or everybody's entitled to their opinion. You might find yourself apologizing less if you are a big apologizer. If you find yourself always apologizing, oh, I didn't mean to do this, or I didn't mean to do that, or please forgive me, you might be like, oh. And to yourself, you're like, well, I don't know. But that's because you've developed thicker skin. Number 3, you're going to learn to be more tolerant of differences, right? When you get on your own path, you're going to learn, you know what? I don't agree with that. We not coming to an agreement, but let's agree that we disagree and keep it moving. My husband introduced that to me a long time ago, way before we were married. I say this all the time. And he said that, like, we're not going to always touch and agree. We're going to have a disagreement. We're not going to touch and agree all the time. However, we do have to agree that we will agree that we disagree and keep it moving. I know y'all like TT. TT, you trying to give us a tongue twister this morning, early in the morning? I'm not. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I'm saying. I'm telling you what I know. Number 4, you will also find what they call unexpected community. Finding yourself going down different paths, right? Than the majority of the ones that you have gone through, gone down, went around. But also open up new possibilities, unlimited possibilities for connecting with other people outside of your norm. For example, even through, let's see, wasn't a good example. Mm, what's a good example? Yeah. I want to use a good metaphor for you guys. That you will relate to. Like, oh yeah. Uh, here we go. Twilight. I'm hope you've watched the Twilight segues, right? So in one of the scenes in Twilight, I think it was the eclipse. Bella and Jacob and all of them had to form together so they could defeat the people who was coming back for Bella, right? And so one of the brothers had a premonition of what would have happened, but it looked like it was reality when they showed it to us. It was so sweet. Until you saw the movie, you didn't know. And the one brother was so sick of being a vampire that he couldn't wait until they dissembled him when they killed him. When they were ready to rip his body apart, that man said, finally, he knew. And his brother, who was a mean vampire, looked at him like, wow. So when they woke up and they realized after they, could hold the girl's hand to see the one that could see things, the brother looked at the other brother who was unbothered, like, oh my God, you don't even want this life. I don't even know if y'all gonna follow that. Y'all probably like, TT, we ain't even watching Twilight. The who? I know that probably wasn't a good one. I'm a movie buff, so sue me. I'm sorry. Google it if you never seen Twilight the Eclipse. Yeah, it was a whole trilogy. Okay. Shout out to the woman from Ohio, Michigan. No, I'm sorry, not Ohio, Michigan. I'm sleepy. Still sleepy. I'm still sleepy. From Ohio. I don't know what part of Ohio. I'm in Michigan. She wrote several books and she was an at-home mom. And those books, somebody got a hold to them and they turned it into a movie. Ain't that amazing? Don't tell me what God won't do for you. Number 5, you'll also discover freedom to be who you are when you try to live, not try, but do live your own path. And there's nothing more authentic than living the life you want to live, right? But it's not for everybody. When we find ourselves living lives that don't align with who we really are, we suffer. We suffocate ourselves spiritually, emotionally, right? It's always best to be yourself. Some people somewhere in the world will love you exactly for who you are. And if they don't, then they are not to be who you need them to be. Let them be who they're going to be, and you find out who you are so you could be who you need to be. And we're better off losing those type of people who can't appreciate who we are versus being stuck with people who can, right? So if I have a choice to pick the people who don't want to deal with me authentically and I'm suffering versus I could deal with the people who want to deal with me and I'm happy, I'm going to take the latter. Number 6, the opportunity to create your own meaning. Well, there's no shortage in opinions because everybody has an opinion, right? If you have a butthole, everybody has a butthole, and we all have one, right? So everybody has an opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, right? But it doesn't make you or break you in some cases. Some people let it make them and break them, but it shouldn't. And some will argue that point, right? On the other hand, people appreciate who you are and you being who they are or being who they are to them, if that makes sense, right? And that means that they found a deep place in their heart where they deeply and personally and professionally say, you know what? This is my guy. You know what? This is my girl, right? It's like-minded, like people, right? You circle yourself with people who are on the same level as you, and you're just going to do amazing, amazing, amazing things. All right. Number 7, and my final one is inspiration for others. As you find your own path to live and embrace, you're going to discover acceptable and accessible pathways that you can extend to others, right? Now, this was data, okay? They said that lesbians and bisexual people reported being more comfortable coming out than they did in hiding who they were. And I'm like, wow. They felt like, you know what? I'd rather be who I am than pretend I'm not. And I'm like, wow, because we know it's not acceptable, but they said, damn it, I'm not going to live in the dark times. I'm not going to live in my own shadow. I'm not going to be afraid of who I am. I'm going to own it. Well, why can't straight people, heterosexual people, why can't we feel that same way and say, you know what? Let me just be me. Let me be me and let the chips fall where they may. There ain't no shame in the game, right? Especially when you are doing what you know is the right thing to do for who you are, and that's your sanity. Choosing your own pathway and living to be who you are meant to be is amazing. It's a gift from God, and it's one that you shouldn't take for granted. There are people in the world that can't be who they want to be, even if they want to be. So if you have the opportunity to be who you want to be, don't you dumb it down for nobody. Don't you not be who you're supposed to be according to your purpose on your life. Don't you do it. You have the right to be exactly who you want to be. And I'm hoping that you want to be an amazing person. If nobody's told you, I'm going to tell you, you are amazing. And what you want to do, you can do. Don't you let nobody talk you out of your goals and dreams. Don't you let nobody run away your goals and dreams. The visions you have, they're yours. And they're yours for a reason and a purpose. You have exactly what it takes to do exactly what you want to do. So get to going, get to getting. Well, that's all I got for you on this Tap In Tuesday type of day. Remember, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight, I'm going to have 3 amazing women on. We're going to talk about women in podcasting, the journeys we've had, right? The setbacks, the setups, right? And much more. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time by going to StreamYard. So that's www.streamyard.com/Facebook. Log into your Facebook account. Check out myself, Rocky Harris from Rocky's Reality, Camila Sunshine from Keeping It Real Conversations, and Tan from Milfin Podcast. We're coming together to kick it and drop some jewels. It's definitely a show tonight you don't want to miss. Until the next time we leave Footprints Across the Sun, it is your girl TT from the D, and I'll see you soon.